Hey everyone, it's Lexie. So in today's video, I'll be doing a kind of bookshelf tour video. I'm not going to go through each of my individual books, but I will show you how my bookshelves are arranged. Now that my husband and I have moved into our forever home, we've been adding slowly to additions to our house that we will enjoy and we'll enjoy for the rest of our lives here. So one of the biggest things that we wanted to do was get built-in bookshelves. I always had my IKEA Billy bookshelves when I was in university and when I moved in with him, for the first time. But once we found our forever home, we really wanted to invest in something that, we can enjoy for the rest of our lives. So we got these built-in bookshelves that we have in our dining room, and I love them. They're perfect, and I definitely can add a lot more. A lot of the books I have pulled up to the front, but I definitely can double stack a lot of these shelves. Sorry, you just heard Willow come down the stairs. Hi. And yeah, so I think they're perfect. I think this arrangement is going to last me for kind of the rest of my life for my books, which is really exciting. I love having this little library nook, which I really enjoy. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so this is the general layout of my bookshelves. So as you can see on the top here, I just have my Jellycat collection, and then the bookshelves are kind of organized as this half is kind of fantasy series, and then this next half is related to authors I have a lot of books from, nonfiction, and then those that are kind of just misfits, I just have one book. They just kind of go there. So let's go ahead and break down each of these shelves. So this first shelf here contains the Marissa Meyer, Philip Pullman, and Erica Johansson series that I have. So obviously I have the Lunar Chronicles, Heartless, the Gilded series, and also the Renegade series as well. And then I have this bound edition of His Dark Materials, which contains all of the 3 books in that trilogy, in addition to the spin-off series for the Book of Dust. And then I have, the Queen of the Tearling series as well. So I have the original trilogy and then the prequel Beneath the Keep. And then on this next shelf, I have more series. So I have the Green Bone Saga trilogy by Fonda Lee, the Gemma Doyle trilogy by Libba Bray, the Diviners Quartet, by Libba Bray as well. And then this is where I have my Leigh Bardugo books. So I have the Shadow and Bone trilogy, Six of Crows, the King of Scars duology, and also the Nine House and the Familiar. Moving on, this is actually one of my favorite shelves. I love how I have basically everything in this spot until this new book comes out here. Then I'll have to do some rearranging. But I first have the Remnant Chronicles and the Dance of Thieves duology by Mary E. Pearson, in addition to the short story Morrigan and the Courting of Bristol Keats. Then I have my Catherine Arden books as well, which consist of the Winter Night trilogy, the Warm Hands of Ghost, and the Unicorn Hunters. Next, this is my Hunger Games spot, and I obviously have the original trilogy, the Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes, Sunrise and the Reaping, and then also a special edition as well. I have the Gallagher Girl series by Ally Carter, which is one of my favorites, and I reread it not too long ago, a few years ago, and it holds up really well. And then I also kind of have the Serpent and then the Wings of Night duology ones. So I have all of those there. Next, this is kind of another fantasy series. So I have the Gilded Wolves trilogy by Roshani Chokshi. I have my Rebecca Ross books, which consist of the Divine Rivals duology and Wild Reverence. And then I have all of my Nora Roberts books in series. As you can see here, she does always do trilogies, so I have all of those there. I then have the Ordinary Monsters series by J.M. Eero, and also the Assassin's Apprentice Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb. And lastly, this is my Harry Potter section. So as you can see, I have the original trilogy and various editions of it as well. So moving on to my second fantasy shelf, this first one is my Sarah J. Maas, and you can just see how heavy the shelf is because it's kind of warped down a little bit, but I obviously have the Throne of Glass, the ACOTAR, and the Crescent City series. And the next shelf here is some of my most favorite fantasy series. I have the Emily Wilde series by Heather Fawcett, in addition to the UK editions. I got these in Ireland when we were on our honeymoon, so these are just always special to me. I then have the Cruel Prince trilogy, in addition to a few of the other spin-off series and special editions here. And then I also have my Rachel Gillard books. So I have the Shepherd King duology, in addition to the Knight and the Moth that I have here. And then I also had the Shield of Sparrows trilogy by Devney Perry. So this is, I think, again, one of my favorite shelves because it's one of my favorite authors of all time, and it is Louise Penny. So I have the Inspector Gamache series here, in addition to her book that she did with Hillary Clinton here at the end. But she has a lot of books in this series, which I kind of have here as well. I have a 20th anniversary special edition, and then this is also a signed first copy that I found at a bookstore in Boston, which is exciting. So this is kind of again, continuing with more crime series. So I have Tess Gerritsen and her books here with the Rizzoli Isle series and some standalones as well. This is double stacked, so I actually have some books back here, as you can see, for more Tess Gerritsen, but she has a lot, so I just kind of double stack those. And then I have the series by Barbara Nicholas, and then the Cormoran Strike series as well. So when the new book comes out, I'll have to figure out how to rearrange this shelf. And then finally, this shelf here has the series by Robert Brensida, so the Erica Foster series, as well as the Kate Marshall series. I have a few Sandra Brown books and Rachel Kane series as well. I then, towards the end here, I have the Tracy Crosswhite series by Robert Degoni and this series by Lee Goldberg as well. So this next shelf is just a hodgepodge of series, and they're kind of just more general fiction or have some romance in them. So I have my Richard Osman books here. This consists of the Thursday Murder Club series and his new series, We Solve Murder. Then I have all my Emily Henry books here as well. I love how they all fit together right there. And then I have the Talia Hibbert Brown Sisters trilogy, and then my Taylor Jenkins Reid book here. Next, I have my box set for the Bridgerton series, and then all my Abby Jimenez books there as well. This next shelf showcases some of my favorite authors as well. So I have all of my Kristen Hanna books here, as you can see, in addition to my special edition of The Nightingale. And then moving over here, I have the kind of Faraday Family trilogy by Martha Hall Kelly, in addition to her other standalone books, which consist of The Golden Doves and the Martha Vineyards Beach and Book Club pick. And then lastly, I have all of my Frederick Backman books here. So this next shelf also has some of my favorite authors. First up, I have Kate Morton, who is one of my favorites. She's written a lot of great, fantastic books, and I really love them. And then on the bottom here, I have ones that are written by Ellen Marie Wiseman. Next up, I have Kate Quinn, who has written a lot of historical fiction that I really enjoy. I have then a kind of a variety, so I have V.E. Schwab, T. Kingfisher, Sylvia Morena Garcia, Ariel Lawhorn, and Sangu Mandana just down here. As you can see, it's kind of a hodgepodge of authors and genre down here. Continuing down on this shelf with kind of more of a hodgepodge theme, I then have my books by Elizabeth Wein, which is kind of the Codename Verity series and some of her other standalone ones. I have books by Gillian Flynn, Lane Moriarty, Susan Messenger, Jojo Moyes, Jodi Picoult, Liz Moore, and Anthony Doerr as well. And then here are just kind of the other hodgepodge books as well that don't really have a spot. And they're, so I just kind of they just fit all nicely here. But you can see there's just a variety of genres, authors, and these are usually books that I maybe just have one, or I don't have very many books for that author, so they kind of go here. Willow is joining us for this video here. And so for this shelf, this is where I have my nonfiction. So this top shelf is where I have kind of just a variety of hodgepodge. I have all like my racism, slavery nonfiction books here. I have some nonfiction like history and my like dinosaurs and mammals evolution stuff here. And then just a weird variety of things. I have like that talks about like dogs and fossils and the Romanov sisters. And then here are kind of more of like the celebrity nonfiction, I guess you can say, and like politician. So these where I have like the memoirs of famous people such as like Prince Harry, Michelle Obama, Kamala Harris. All those ones are on the shelf, in addition to my Eras Tour book and The Look by Michelle Obama. So this is one of my kind of like favorites. These are like my single books that are some of my favorites that I just didn't want to put down here that I wanted to enjoy. So I have like a variety of ones that have really stood out to me, such as The Once and Future Witches, Looking for Jane, all that stuff. And then this shelf over on here on the corner are all the books that my husband has gotten me from when we were dating, engaged, and like married. So these are all the special ones that I like to keep there. And then kind of similar to my kind of hodgepodge shelf, this is where I have other kind of single books that I maybe have maybe one or two books from this author from, but just the hardback version of the one that's down there. And then I also just have my reading journals over here. And then lastly, this is the kind of pile of books that I am going to bring to Half Price Books. So throughout like kind of the year, if I find a book that I'm just like, you know what, like I don't really want this, this is where I will kind of store them down here. Alrighty everyone, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the future if you want to see more kind of bookshelf organizational videos and all of that fun stuff. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.